I know that a lot of people have problems in this game whenever they want to do some PvE, and then they notice that every result they get for each hour grinded is just not up on par with everybody else. And then they just sit there, you know, and it's like super sad because it just feels like everybody else is just better. But I feel like it's based on like what you know and how you use it. And like this game has a lot of info which I would like to go through in this video, and I'll explain to you like a few things, especially for beginners. Like I'm thinking like most veterans at this point should be knowing pretty much everything I'm gonna say. So this is more like for new people, or they're like people that weren't like really looking into it much up until now. So obviously I'll start out with PvE. Just like PvP has like a lot of subtones. For example, you got all 3 types of special attacks in PvE, just as you do it like in PvP as well. And like one of the things is that you need to take into account the type of special attacks your character has, if you actually do have any sort of special attack. And like what I'm talking about is like you got down attack, back attack, and air attack, and like all of those 3 are gonna be like super important for you to actually clear faster whenever you're killing. Now, what's important to know is that back attack is the only one that is pretty much always active for every class you're gonna play ever. I don't think there's any class that can't back attack. The general idea is just as it sounds. You deal more damage if you hit a target from behind. First of all, we got that orc over there. Hopefully he didn't notice me. Well, he did. Fuck. Anyway, he's gonna be attacking me right here. He's super slow. If you notice, like I'm hitting him here, and all it says on the screen is critical, sometimes immune. It really depends on the skill I'm using. Sometimes you will also see block. Now I'll talk about critical, immune, and block a bit later. But as you could notice, back attack were, well, it's because he was like facing me and I was just hitting him in the face. And obviously my damage was also lower because of that. That was like my general damage. And now that camp over there. Wait. If you haven't subscribed yet and you like my videos, I would appreciate it if you hit that button and the bell for the notifications. It really helps a lot, and I'll appreciate it forever. Now, let's get back to the video. Now we're gonna go and just like attack the camp before it gets a chance to turn around. And you will notice that throughout all of those like critical hits and like misses and whatever is going on there, you'll notice it's gonna say back attack because that guy is with his back towards me. So if I go super fast, you see there was like a whole bunch of back attack over there, and if I switch behind them, it's gonna say back attack again. Now obviously it's super fast, so basically that's how it works. As long as the mobs are not like facing you, if you hit them in the back, it's gonna be a back attack. Crazy, right? Now what you want to do is, like in most places, it's gonna be really hard to hit them in the back, but if you can move around the mobs and try to hit them in the back as much as possible, it's gonna increase your damage. Now there's also back attack multipliers. You're gonna be checking them out. I believe we got all extra special attack on the Giant's Drought, for example. We talked about elixirs in the previous video. If you want to know more about that, I'm gonna be linking it somewhere down below. You also get like all sorts of special attacks here. So you also get down attack and air attack, which is like rare for some classes. My Awakening Lahn rarely ever does a down attack or an air attack, so basically for me those are kind of useless, but we get 10% extra on the back attack. So not only did I deal a little bit more damage healing them from behind, but I also boost the damage that I'm dealing from behind. When it comes to like other special attacks, it's really like class dependent. Some classes use air and down attack, maybe like a lot more than the Lahn. In this case, we're talking about the Awakening Lahn, which like Awakening Lahn doesn't really have any of that. Like there might be like some sort of ability that does this. I'm not even sure. I never see down attack or air attack. Those are super specific on a spell, and like it feels like it's also pretty like rare for my class, so you will never really have to think much about that. So what does this mean? If you're gonna use an elixir rotation on Awakening Lahn, you will not need the specific elixirs for air attack and down attack, because as you could see, like if I use the full combo, let's try a full combo on one of those. The way it goes is like you just wanna make sure when you're looking, if you're like a different class, to see what's written on the screen when you hit the mobs. If you see a lot of air attack or down attack, you just want to use the elixirs as well. In our case, the full combo doesn't have any of that, so it would be a waste of money and resources to just use those. If you got those, you want to boost them as much as possible so you can get it together with the back attack, because they're not mutually exclusive. If you hit some monster from the back, you can also do an air attack at the same time. Like your air attack just hits the monster from the back. That's how it works. The monster doesn't have to be CC'd for this. Like I've seen air attack and down attack on the screen without the monster being like impaired in any way. I think a lot of people might confuse it like that there's not a down attack unless the mob is on the floor. I feel like down attack refers mostly to like the attack pattern or something more than when it deals the type of damage, right? Now, we got those out of the way, so let's see. First of all, if you are gonna be attacking mobs as well, like this is something like more general as well. Like when you're attacking mobs, if you're gonna see a lot of miss, that means you don't have enough accuracy. So like that's probably not gonna be a problem anymore, since they buffed every single class and they added like 22% or something accuracy, which pretty much made most people to get over 100 accuracy in most PvE spots. So like accuracy is kind of dead for PvE. The only place where you could buff a little bit on accuracy would be like Crypt. In Crypt, I believe I have like 94 or 95%, which is already plenty. Like you could buff a little bit, like you could have like say one Jin Viper or something and it would probably go to 100. But yeah, if you see a lot of miss, say your gear is really low and you're like just starting and you start fighting some like tough mobs and it says miss, that means you don't have enough accuracy. You might want to boost it a little bit. Then if it says critical, what does this mean? So first of all, critical hit needs to be maxed out. So like basically you want to be critting every single attack like I'm doing right here. I'm pretty sure most people do, but as you can see, I'm just hitting over and over, and most of my hits, like if not all, are critical, and I'm not even fully buffed right now. But it's really important that you crit on every single attack. If you happen to attack mobs and you don't see critical on every hit, that means you can improve upon your critical hit rate. You gotta make sure, if you go to battle stats right here, you want your critical hit to be level 5. As you can see, at level 5 you get critical hit rate 18% extra. Together with all of your buffs and everything, it's gonna go towards like 100 in no time. So that means that every single time you hit, your hit will be like empowered. I'm not exactly sure if it's like double the damage or something, but it greatly increases your damage when you crit. When it comes to like critical hit damage, a lot of people might get confused. Critical hit damage will affect the way like critical hit rate goes. Like when you hit, critical hit rate can only go up to 100. 100 means that every single one of your hits will crit. Now, once your hit crits, this is why I said before that it like depends, like it might be double or something, in some cases more, because your critical hit damage actually affects how much more damage you deal when you do crit. So like if you crit 100% of the times and your critical hit damage is like huge, it's gonna improve your crit by that much. So like say you have 200%, now you're dealing like twice as much damage or something. So basically that's why you want like as much as possible get like critical hit damage. I believe we got it on the frenzy drought. This is why the frenzy is pretty strong as well, because of the critical hit damage is 10% here. That's the relation between the two stats. Now another thing you will notice is like when you hit them, it's like immune. What I believe it is like it's not immune to damage, but it's immune to a CC. So like your skill might knock the mob down. It might push him over. It might just add stiffness or whatever sort of CC you have. And certain mobs are just like either immune in a specific state to those kind of attacks, or they're like immune altogether, like at all points. You just can't CC them. So I believe like orcs, you can't really CC them unless it's like stiffness or something. You can knock them down. So like whenever I'm hitting, it's trying to knock them down. When it does, it says immune, as you can see on the screen. So that means you can't knock those mobs over. It doesn't mean they're immune to your damage. Then you might also see that sometimes when you're fighting them, it says block as well. And that means basically that a monster is just like forward guarding basically your attacks. Sometimes it can happen like in a movement animation, like for example, it could happen like a lot in like Histria or like Giffen, where like the mobs are just like getting up and just like trying to attack you. You know, they're like some sort of like ancient machines and stuff, and they're like activating. And while they're doing that, when you start hitting the mob, it just says block, block, block. That does block here. The mob is completely immune to your damage there on that specific hit, so it says block. Like you can see, you have the similar thing. For example, if I'm like engaging those mobs here and I just move backwards, it's just gonna say block whenever they actually do hit me, even though like they're so slow. That, see, it says block in red right there. I'm trying to like make it more visible, but yeah, it says block, 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 see, on every single hit, and they don't deal any damage. So basically that's how it works. And I'm sure like there might be certain mobs that you can't block because they either deal too much damage and break your block, or they just like can't be blocked or something. But like most things can be blocked, and you won't get like the damage. In this case, the way the block works, it just kind of just blocks stuff in front of you, not all the way around you. So if you see you're getting damaged when you do that, basically all I do is like walk backwards, and that just activates the block. And you can tell it activates it because of the little shield to the right of my HP. Basically, when you block, it only covers like, I believe it's 180 degrees in front of you, and any hit that goes past that behind you is gonna be dealing damage to you. And that's the reason why sometimes in both PvE and PvP, you can get knocked over even though you have like your guard up. So you need to keep that in mind. Like any sort of AoE that like hits you from above might hit behind you, and you might still get CC'd because of it. So keep that in mind. Now that we got like all of those like infos covered, and like you guys kind of have a gist of what's going on here, I'm just gonna explain to you that the way your class works is very combo dependent. When you do PvE, your skill add-ons are very dependent on your actual PvE skill rotation. It just makes a lot of sense. Like, your add-ons are buffing your skills. You don't want to be buffing skills that you're not gonna use. You will buff only skills that are literally in the skill rotation when you're fighting mobs. Now, your skill rotation might differ a lot based on how easy the mobs are to kill. Like, I won't ever need a full combo to kill orcs. Right now, I'm not buffed at all, and like, orcs just die super fast either way. It's because like my AP is super high, so I'm like pretty close to their AP cap. So basically, I still deal a shit ton of damage. Like right there, I killed it relatively fast. Even though I'm not buffed, I didn't even debuff the orcs with the mechanic. So basically, right now I'm at my weakest and I still kill them pretty fast. I don't need the whole combo. But you will need the whole combo if you're gonna go and do like Oluns or like, I don't even know, maybe Giffen at some point. If you get super strong, Giffen will be easy as well. There's maybe some trolls and shit like that, Turo. You know, those require a full combo, and you might even do like 2 combos on them if you're super, like, if you're not super OP, you might need 2 combos. So the gist of the add-ons is basically think what your combo is and then just apply buffs to it. And like, the logic behind the buffs is that each add-on is of a certain tier. First of all, it's the like how big the effect is, and then second of all is like how long does it last. So like, you will notice there's like 3 tiers of how like big the effect is. You can get like 30 critical hit rate on the eradication, but maybe on Tailspin you only get 20 critical hit rate. So you might want to use a critical hit rate buff on eradication since it's the bigger number, right? And then you look and it says 7 seconds. Well, if it's 30 for 7 seconds, then maybe you might want to look at another skill where it's 30 for 12 seconds. Basically, that's what you want to look for when you're doing your add-ons. You pick your skills, the ones you're gonna be using in your combo. In this case, we're using every single one of those. In this case, I'm using the PvP add-ons right here, which are also like not updated. I'm pretty sure they still look kind of similar though. I don't think a lot changed here with the patch. Once you pick your first skill, like your first skill is usually some sort of a buff or a debuff, right? So like, in this case, we're gonna be starting with Shift F. And as you can see, right after Shift F, we just got a critical hit rate and critical hit damage. This is exactly what we have on the add-on. Those are the buffs we're looking for. Let me go just switch the skill add-ons to the PvE page, so I can just show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so now we're back with the PvE add-ons. Let's check at the list and see how it's going. So first of all, we have eradication. Like I said, we're gonna be having a buff on eradication. First of all, we're gonna get extra DP and extra all accuracy. Basically here I could just like switch the accuracy out at this point, because my accuracy is most likely maxed out. So having all accuracy plus 5% is no longer useful. I could just pick something like you want to buff up yourself, debuff the enemy, and then just deal a shit ton of damage. That's how it works. That's the logic behind it. So first you get strong, you get protected, then you make them weak, you get them like unprotected, and then you just freaking like bomb them with I don't know, your best hitting skill or like your biggest AoE. That's how the combos work. I believe there is no combo in the game that doesn't work like that. You just need to figure out which skill is which. So your first skills are always gonna be you buff up, your secondary skills are gonna be you debuff the enemy, and then your like third list of skills are gonna be your damage dealers. This is especially in spots where you're just gonna be fighting a lot with the mobs. Like I said, it's like Turos, you got like Quint Hill, stuff like that, Olons. I'm gonna be talking about like spots where you one-shot the mobs as well, but a little bit later. But this is the gist of how it's going. Like you get some extra DP, some accuracy. This was the logic behind it. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna explain how it works, and you can just use the information to just like help yourself. Basically this is what the video is about. I'm just explaining the stuff to you so you can be capable of just like knowing what to do next, rather than just like go on the Discord and just pick the best one that was like just made up by some guy, because like the best one is never the best one. There are different spots that work completely different from each other in like so many ways sometimes that it just might be a different page for the spot you want to grind in. Let me give you an example. This is my general PvE page, but if you go Castle Ruins or like Bloody Monastery, I don't know, and you want to be dealing as much damage as possible, obviously you might want to like not have like monster damage in here or something. You might want to like avoid monster damage and just get like something like human damage instead, right? Because you might be capped at that spot, and like monster damage just gets capped as well at 5% in Bloody Monastery, for example. So you don't want 5% of 30, you want the full 15% extra human damage you get from the buff, right? So that's much better for those spots. And then obviously after you just gonna like buff yourself, you gotta follow up. Taunting Death also has like some interesting effects as well. I'll show you right now. So once you do this, and then this one which just gives you like evasion. You get some AP from it as well. See, 16 AP, back attack, critical hit damage. Those are the things you get like from just 2 skills. You get all that shit. So Shift F, W, right click, and you get like a lot of stuff. A lot. Now let's just keep going. So for now your combo goes like Shift F, W, right click. Then we also got Deadly Dance. This is your WF. You get critical hit rate plus 30%, attack and cast speed, right? So like this is basically the stuff you're looking for. You just gotta use all those 3 in succession, like Eradication, Taunting Death, Deadly Dance. That's like usually how it goes. We're just gonna do it like bam, 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 right? You're just gonna be hitting as many as possible. You get everything buffed up, you get your damage here and everything, and then when you gotta be hitting with bleeding hearts, you just debuff them. Like what's going on here? Like you do minus DP and evasion rate and everything because you're hitting a lot of them, right? So like when you go in the middle of them like this and you just do your everything and then you do this, you're just gonna be hitting everything around you. So you're just gonna debuff as many as possible. So like the general idea is you want to have your debuffs on like the bigger AoEs as well. Like if you have two AoEs, one is big but deals less damage, and one is big-ish or okay-ish and it deals a ton of damage. You just want to combine them just so you can like debuff the mobs super hard and then just get the benefits of like your whole extra damage and everything. Obviously this needs to go like super fast so you don't lose the buffs. So you're gonna be like shift F, W right click, WF, right click, left click, and then S right click to finish. And that's gonna be like super strong. Like your S right click is one of your strongest attacks, especially from behind. Obviously it doesn't have a huge AoE. The problem with Lahn is that the AoEs are pretty bad, so Awakening Lahn is not super strong when it comes to spots where there's a lot of mobs, because you're limited to only like 10 mobs or something, or even less, I'm not even sure. Basically you can't hit all of the mobs. Even if they were like literally in front of you, all ganged up, and you would just press your skill, you only can hit like about 10 mobs. There's classes that can hit more, and basically your issue is that you don't deal a lot of AoE. So like right there, if I had a Megu, I would just go a little bit closer, just bombard every single thing in that corner from a distance, and that would be super easy. For Lahn, you just have to go in like all personal and shit, and you just have to shoot at every single one of them, and that's basically how you kill them. Awakening Lahn is not great for spots like this. It can do pretty well when it comes to spots where there's like only a few mobs, so you can just concentrate all of your damage into like 1, 2, 3 targets, maybe 5 at best. But here it's not awesome. When you're flying, you do this, right? Oh my god, it just takes forever, right? What's the problem there? You can actually skip the animation for that one as well. Like say you're running from pack to pack, or you're running away from the mobs because they're gonna eat you. You can do something like dash left and then do this, and see how fast it went into the animation compared to the other one. On the other one it does 2 steps and then it flies off. In this one it just like flew off immediately after dashing, so like it's just like a second faster or something, and you just need to dodge to the side and that's it, and you're flying faster, right? So you need to look up for animation cancels like this. You want to make sure which spells flow into each other. So again, if you do this, it's like super fast. If you do it the other way around, it's a slight delay, like just a super small one. If you put them together, you can notice that it's just a little bit faster on one side. The whole combo would look something like, so first you're dashing in with shift F, then you do W right click, then you do WF. You can turn around with your camera on this one if you want to just hit one target or something. So if you do WF, you can just do this, and it's almost like in one place. Or you could just also like just travel with it, you know, like use it like a dash kind of thing. I think it's still faster than walking, right? So basically if you're going from one place to another and you're kind of like dealing a shit ton of damage, you have the weapon for example, and you kill the mobs in one hit, you can just do this through them and just walk to the next spot, right? And with W shift you just double dash forward as well. You can also use side dash as a traveling means, so like when you're going from one place to another, so like I'm killing those guys here, right? I'm just like going behind them, like I'm using the dash just to reposition myself. I'm just making everything easier for me, right? Because I want to get that back attack over there. And now once I'm done killing those guys here, say that I don't have anything to get closer to those guys over there, where I'm just gonna turn my camera and I'm just gonna do this. So basically it just helps me reposition. See, like I'm just traveling using my side dash by turning my camera around. It's super useful in certain spots. Basically, you don't have like infinite dashes like a Musa or something, so you kind of have to make use of whatever you got. Using the side dash to just get to the next pack can be like super useful sometimes. You can't use it a lot. It just like it in certain occasions, because Awakening Lahn has a terrible problem right now with stamina. So like your stamina depletes super fast. There are some classes that can dash like a billion times without stamina issues. Lahn is not one. Like you only dash like, I don't even know, like 10 times at best, not even 10 times, and you're already like dead. So you need to watch out your like stamina bar a lot when you do dashes like this, so you don't run out. So you just time them better. Just make sure, like, for example, if I have the double dash like this, I don't want to use my side dash to get here, because it's just like more efficient on stamina. So you have to think about that. So like side dashes just take about like they just go a small distance, but you can do a lot of them in a row. But it also takes like it's like 8 stamina every single time, while if you do the double dashes, you also cover more distance faster. So then another thing that you want to take into consideration is when you're fighting super easy mobs, right? You don't use your whole combo like I said earlier. Like your combo is generally for harder mobs. When the mobs die in just one shot, you kind of have to like keep moving, you know. Let me actually get out of Elvia and we'll just try it on the orcs. So again, like a general idea is your combo is gonna be like Shift F, W right click, WF, left click, right click, and then S right click. That's gonna be it. It's gonna be again, Eradication, Taunting Death, Deadly Dance, Bleeding Hearts, Brittle Despair. This is a kind of combo you're gonna be doing most of the times in PvE. However, if the mobs die super fast, basically when you do this, you're gonna be using like one skill for each mob. So what you want to do is make use of your skills to cover a lot of distance. So here I'm like near this guy, I'm just gonna use a basic attack. He's dead. I just turned around towards the next target. I'm just gonna use Shift F. I'm here already. I'm gonna dodge the tree or whatever this is, and then basically you're already in position to kill those. So I already used a few things, right? I already used Shift F, I dodged, and now I got WF ready, and I killed all of them already. And now that guy is kind of far, but I have a double dash, and then I can use one basic attack to kill him, and I probably have Shift F again. You most likely will. Like I'm doing this slowly just to demonstrate, but that's basically how you want to do it. So like you just use Shift F, you just look around here, you just make sure you get all of those. Just use all of your spells however you see fit. And like another thing, when you're killing super easy mobs like those, right, you one-shot them with basic attacks, right? This is basically like Valencia mobs, or you have like the weapon in Elvia Serendia spots or some shit. You can use this as well, and it covers a little bit extra distance. Like you use Shift F and then you click, and it just like jumps a little bit further and deals damage around, and that will kill mobs for sure. So like you're gonna be doing something like boom, and then I just dropped in the middle of them and I killed them. Even though Shift F didn't reach them, I still got them. So when you use Shift F and you're like fighting super easy mobs, you can just do this, and it's gonna be like super effective for that one, and it helps you with the distancing. In normal combat, you don't really use that at orcs or like Quinn Hill or something. Like you can, it just like you can prolong the combo a little bit with it, but generally speaking, you just want to get everything fast out. The reason is that your buffs and debuffs are running out, so you have to be as fast as possible. So the reason you're not doing shift F click when you're PvE and like in certain spots where the mobs are pretty tough is because you want to make use of your buffs and debuffs. So whatever makes your combo longer but doesn't give you extra buffs or debuffs is just gonna like fuck you up at the last part of the combo, right? So you need to do your combo super fast. Your combo needs to be like your second nature kind of shit, you know? Like the faster you do the combo, the better for you, because you keep all of your shit. If you're slow with the combo, obviously your buffs and debuffs are gonna run out from the first half of the combo, and you're gonna be dealing less damage, so you make less silver. Obviously, when you're running around, you just gotta get creative, you know? You just like shift F, you just do WF, you just double dash, you can just side dash as well. Like this, those are like very useful. And if there's a lot of mobs around, if you do W right click, that's really nice because it just walks while dealing damage. So let me see where like say we go here, right? I do this, I kill those guys, and then I can just walk through those guys here, for example. You just kind of need to make use of those. Like Lahn is not super good PvE right now. Even if you're the best player in the world, you're just gonna underperform compared to other classes. So don't ever feel bad about it. Obviously, I'm telling you how to be better, but this won't make you reach the numbers that certain people pull with stuff like Nova Awakening or something. Like that's not gonna happen. I love Lahn Awakening. I have like over like 4,000 hours on it. I play it because I like it, and because I like it, I can just grind more than ever. If I hated the class that I played and I just played it because I don't know, gives me good silver, I would have been already out of this game for like a long time ago. Basically, you just need to enjoy your time when you're doing it. You need to make sure that you remember what skills you used when you're grinding. You need to make sure you use them in the right succession so that you don't run like dry. When you're killing stuff super fast, just think about everything that moves you away. So like again, I'm facing that guy. My side dash won't get me there, but look how much it covers and how fast. See? So basically that guy's over there. I could probably do something like this, which is gonna be faster than just walking if I don't have any like cooldowns. Now, knowing your cooldowns is gonna come to you naturally at some point as you keep playing. You also have your cooldowns on the screen. So like as you can see to the left side, I got my cooldown set up. Now it says 4 seconds, 5 seconds on this, 7 seconds on this. So like basically the game also tells you, it helps you out, you know, so you know that you can't use that spell for a few seconds, and you know which spell, and for like it just has the timer for you. You don't have to set up a clock or something. So this is absolutely great. So just make sure the succession in which you use the spells is just like super good, you know. Like you want to remember to make use of like the extended skills if you have. In a lot of cases, a lot of classes have like extensions to their skills. Lahn has like this one, like I said. There's some PvP of skills that also get extended as well. There's a lot of stuff you can do. Also, when we do left click, right click, you can actually hold it or just cut it short. So like for example here, right? If I hold it, it's gonna do this. Like except the last was just a basic hit. Or it can just be like, and then I can just dash away, and it was like super fast. And it's useless because like you don't want to sit there through the whole, like you can cancel left click, right click super fast when you're fighting mobs that die in one shot. It's like right here, those guys will 100% die on the first hit. So what I'm gonna do, I gotta do left click, right click, and then dash out. and I'm going to the next spot. So bam, and then I'm just already here. If I would sit through, it just takes so much longer. So for example, right here, I'm doing this, and then I'm here. So it takes like a second longer. Don't sit through the whole animation. If you can, just dash out of it. Another thing that I almost forgot is like, if you are gonna fly, there's two ways to stop flying. First of all, you can skip animation here like this, and then you can drop down with left click like this. So if you time it, you can drop down on top of mobs and kill them. So let me demonstrate this as well. We're gonna fly towards the pack over there, and I'm gonna just drop over them like this, and they're dead. This really helps when you're going, like, say, in Desert Nagas, or like whatever desert place you're going at. For example, Pilaku, right, and like Sulfurs, you're gonna grind there for the map if you really want the map. This is really useful there. Now another way you can do this, and this is like better if the target is ahead of you. So like in this case, the target was underneath, so I pressed left click and dropped on top of it. But if the target is too far away, I don't know, let's try that one over there. It might be just far enough, I don't know. Well, actually, let's just drop behind a bit. So we're just gonna dash, fly, and if you press F, it does this. So like as you're in midair, you press F and it just drops and it does like a pendulum attack. But as you can notice, I'm still in Awakening. So pressing F there just hits with the pendulum, but it doesn't switch the weapons. Also, if we're gonna talk about like switching the weapons, if you press C, you switch the weapons, right? But it's really slow. However, if you're gonna side dash, it's like you go Shift A, right? This is a side dash. Shift D is a side dash. If you do Shift A or Shift D together with C, like switching your weapon. So let's just go back to like, so I'm with pendulum right now and I want to switch. If I do side dash C, during the side dash, it switches the weapon faster. It's like you skip the animation for weapon switch, and you can do it the other way around as well. Like you can get it so much faster outside. If you switch the weapon just by pressing C, it just seeds the weapon and it takes the other one out. If you do the side dash C, you're already in your Awakening. Also, an important thing that you need to know about, your side dash works exactly like a dodge roll in a Souls-like game. So when you do a side dash, you're not just repositioning, you are immune to all effects and damage, literally everything. Like you can't get stunned. I believe you might get grabbed, but I don't think so. I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever, like, I'm not entirely sure about that, but as far as I'm concerned, mobs won't grab you. That's some PvP stuff. I'm not really versed into PvP, so that's why I won't really comment over it, but mobs won't really grab you. And basically when a mob hits you, like in the new spots, mobs are gonna be like having like those red areas on the floor as they're gonna hit and stuff like that. So basically what you want to make sure is, like, if you can't run away, right, if you can just turn around and just go, you just need to just side dash, and you can side dash continuously, for example in boss bullets, and you just literally dodge all the damage. Obviously it needs timing, because if you side dash, like, see, you side dash and then you stop, and then it's like a very small fraction of a second in which you're vulnerable. If you happen to get hit, then you're gonna get knocked down or something and killed. So you need to kind of time it. But like sometimes, for example on Sangun, for me it works to just like panic dash. What you want to do is you want to just look at the monster, relax, because like doing this, you're just gonna choke. You'll have a lot of like stamina burnt, And then right now I can't do anything anymore. See, it's like I can barely do one dash every 2 seconds because I don't have stamina. You just want to watch the monster, and they generally have like decent animations. It's not insane, some of them are bad too, but you do see the cues of a boss or of a mob just trying to go and hit you. So when you see the mob just doing some stuff like this, you just want to wait and do this whenever you know he's gonna hit. You want to be invulnerable when that happens. It's literally like a dodge roll in Dark Souls. Another thing is, like, when you're fighting a mob or anything at all, if they're gonna hit you, you are also invulnerable, and it also just distances you from the mob if you just do like Shift S. Shift F does this, and not only does this, but it also gives you like evasion rate 3% for the skill. So this is really important. So first of all, let's talk about your buffs, right? So you got like one buff that is really important. It's your E buff. You want to be popping this whenever you can and as much as possible. So if you do Shift E, it's gonna do a buff, and if you look at it, it's pretty crazy. For 30 seconds, all AP plus 25, attack speed 25, movement speed 30, and all resistance plus 30. So as much as possible, you want to just keep hitting this whenever you can. The Shift E is gonna be every 3 minutes, so it's a pretty long cooldown on it, unfortunately. But you want to make sure you go as much as possible. To be fair, I'm not entirely sure why it has such a long cooldown. I feel like the Nova acceleration is also insane, and you can get it much faster than that. But I don't know, maybe I'm just like crazy. Maybe Nova acceleration isn't that huge of a buff as this one. But either way, every 3 minutes, you're gonna buff 20 times every single hour. So 20 times, it's gonna be 30 seconds, so it's gonna be 600 seconds, right? That's 10 minutes. You got all of those stats in 1 hour. 10 minutes. So in those 10 minutes, you're just gonna be making more silver. If you forget to do Shift E, then you're just gonna have none or just a little bit, and your silver goes down. It's as easy as that. Then you have the Z buff, which is the Black Spirit Rage buff. Basically, I have it locked. Now, it goes like this. So first of all, when you get 100 on Black Spirit Rage, press Z, and you get all of those buffs for 1 minute. You get 30 AP, critical hit rate 30%, and attack speed 25%. This one also gets better if you have like 200%, I believe, but 200% is quite a lot, and I believe this one is still better. Like, rather than using a 200% one once, I think it's still better to use this one for the 100% one twice or something. And it just consumes your Black Spirit's Rage, which you gain back by just killing mobs. So as you can see here, I just get like about 1% for each mob killed. I'm not sure if it really matters like what mobs I'm killing, since I'm just killing like super trash mobs from like Serendia right now, and they still give me like about 1%. There might be like differences in like how much you get from place to place. I never really checked. Obviously, it's gonna be better in places where you kill mobs super fast compared to the ones you kill only a few mobs and super slow. If you just killed like 100 mobs in like under a minute or something, you're just gonna continuously have it on and on. You also get a little bit when you hit mobs, so like if you're at Alluns and shit, you still gonna get your Z buff from just hitting the mob, even though the mob might just take longer to kill, so you don't have to worry about that. You got the option to just press Z and activate it, and you must do this every single time and as much as possible. You actually want to have your Z buff active the whole duration. Every single minute of the hour, you want to have this activated. and you want to reactivate it as fast as possible whenever you can. You don't really have to wait unless like you have more storage than 100% here. You have a few tongue rads or something, you can just go over it and just wait it out and just like hit the Z buff right before it expires or something if like you really want to use like 100% of it. But I just hit it whenever I can, personally. Now when you're going and you're killing trash mobs like this, obviously you don't want to like use the Z buff at all. It's useless. It doesn't really give you something substantial. You're super fast anyway. Like you just kill everything in one shot. Like you don't really need extra damage or anything. It would have been great if you needed like movement speed, which is why even in spots like this you still want to do Shift E, because it gives you 30% movement speed, right? So like you're gonna be faster when you do this. Another thing is like there's two ways to activate the Z buff, and this is why we just made our rage back. So you can press Z on your keyboard and that's it. There's also like a natural way to do it, even though like I don't really recommend it on the Awakening Lahn. Is that, so first of all, if you press Alt B, you lock or unlock this. Now what does it do if it's unlocked? If it's unlocked, certain skills will use either like 30, 50 or 100% of the Black Spirit Rage, and it's gonna just like empower the skill, and as it empowers the skill it gives you the buff as well. But like the buff requires 100% Black Spirit Rage, so only skills that use 100% will give you the Z buff. So what I'm talking about in our case, the spell that's gonna use 100% in our arsenal is gonna be S right click. So now if I'm gonna do S right click, it's gonna be a more powerful version of the S. So let's just block it for a second. So this is our S right click right now without the Black Spirit Rage. That's it. Now we're gonna unlock it, and it's gonna be the same one. It's gonna take 100 Black Spirit Rage, and we're gonna get the Z buff as well. Now let's check it out. This is the 100%. As you can see, it takes much longer, but it covers more distance and it's stronger. Now, as you can see as well, you get the Z buff. You get AP, you get critical hit rate, attack speed. The same shit we read earlier, right? Now, the reason I have it locked is, first of all, in a spot where mobs die in one shot, it just takes more time to use that skill than to just press Z and just get over with it, right? So pressing Z is better in like spots where you one-shot stuff. But even in spots where you don't, it's dangerous. In like, even though you're dealing a shit ton of damage and covering a huge distance, you're not moving. You're in one spot and you can just die if you do that. So ideally, you don't want to use that 100% skill because it just makes you vulnerable. Now, if you're in a situation when you can use that skill, it could work. I sometimes use it. Say like, I don't even know, if I time it correctly in like Giffen or something, Giffen under, I might use it because like you can just quickly unlock it with the Alt B and it's just gonna work, you know. But generally speaking, I don't recommend. Like, it's just easier to press Z. The stuff is like, if you have it unlocked, you don't have to remember to press any button anymore because you're gonna use S right click in your combo anyway. So like, it could help because you will have Z buff more if you're the type of person that just super forgets about it. So like at Orc Camp, you're gonna benefit from getting more silver because your Z buff is more often active, even though you're spending like half a second or a second on the extra animation for the 100% skill. But if you can remember to press Z every single time, I think it's best to just press Z and just get over with it, right? That's basically how the Black Spear range thing works. Now, obviously, Awakening Lahn in PvE is just kind of like in mid-tier. You can't expect, like I said, Nova Awakening level trash loot from this one, but it's still okay. Like, personally, I'm doing really good on her. When I go grind orcs, for example, I get somewhere like 29k trash. It was like 28.6 or something last time I tried. I can probably get more now. I basically got my artifact combo. Right now I got an artifact combo for knowledge because I was grinding knowledge, but I also get human damage artifacts, demi-human. I also got my all-out attack recently, so I just worked on my artifacts. So with the demi-human combo and everything, I'm just gonna be dealing slightly more damage, so it's gonna be more silver. There's a guy that also did like 32k, I believe, here with the Awakening Lahn, so you can do pretty good numbers. But again, like I believe Nova makes 40k here, so yeah, mid-tier at best. The movement is good, it's fluid, but it just has stamina problems, and her AoEs are pretty bad, and like the number of targets you can hit is pretty small, so that makes her pretty bad at a spot like orcs. If you really like the class, you like the aesthetic of it, you like the double swords look pretty badass and everything, like, yeah, I get it. So basically, I would say just play whatever you like. She's doing okay. One day you might wake up and she's gonna be buffed, so you don't have to worry about that. They just switch who's the best and the favorite of the month every now and then. Like, Awakening Lahn used to be like super strong. It used to be like S tier like a few years back. Now she's no longer. You got like I don't know, a lot of classes that just like went up and down a lot. I believe Wizard was super strong many years ago, and then it just like fell off, and then it got strong again, and it fell off again. You know, so you never know what's gonna happen. Like, you got stuff like people pull a shit ton on Awakening Ninja, which was like kind of mid when it comes to like PvE, like a few years back. So like right now it just shines. So basically this is pretty much all I can think of that I can tell you when it comes to this. As a general idea, you just want to hit them in the back, make use of positioning, just make sure all of your, like, make sure your skills hit as many mobs as possible, if not all. So when you position yourself, take that into account as well, not only back attacks. But yeah, this is basically it. I hope that this guide will help a few newbies out there, like that actually don't know much about how PvE goes. Maybe one day in the future I'll make one on PvP as well, even though like I'm not huge on PvP. I'm actually learning right now some stuff in PvP just so I can actually, you know, start doing some PvP as well. So who knows, in a few months maybe we'll have one about PvP as well. But until then, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, maybe you want to leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment if you have any questions, and I guess I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.